A year ago when we sort of broke ground on this facility, and it turned out to be a marvelous place. Somebody went a little crazy with the paintbrush, but nevertheless, it's actually very attractive. And I love the color outside. You can't miss this building. It's fabulous. And George Medak, the Wizard of Oz. I have never heard him described as the Wizard of Oz. Looked more like Mr. Clean, not the Wizard of Oz. Anyway, George is a good friend. George, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody who had a hand in this. Not only the board of directors, the foundations, the corporate donors, which all of that is necessary, the county, but all of you have worked so hard to make this happen. And we can talk a lot about what the Guidance Center does, and a lot of what I know of what it does really comes from listening to my wife Nancy talk about the issues of mental illness and what it does to families and children. But let me just give you my version of it. Let's just put yourself in the place of a young child in grade school. Your behavior is erratic. Your behavior is unacceptable. You're getting into trouble all the time. You're having trouble with your family. You're not doing well in school, and you have no idea why. Your family doesn't understand why. It's not like you have a fever. It's not like you have a wound of some kind. There's nothing anyone can see. And in our society, even today, it's so difficult to deal with this because there's still not the openness necessary to do so. So you don't understand what's happening. And all you know is that something's wrong. Your family is distressed. You are distressed. There's nowhere to go except the Guidance Center. You now have a place to go to get that help. People who understand, people who can deal with it. Put yourself in the position of a high school student who's severely depressed. Nobody knows why. They don't even know what's wrong with them. They just know that they can't get out of bed in the morning. They can't really function. They don't have any friends. Those are people, those two examples are people who, up until recently, were forgotten in our society. In fact, I would say more than forgotten, they were discarded. And the distress on their families, the pressure on their families, and the pressure on the schools and the pressure on those students is enormous. And so what happens is they get popped out of the system. And God knows what happens. They wind up homeless on the streets, they wind up in jails, they wind up in all kinds of places that are clearly not productive. The Guidance Center now is a place where you can deal with that. Not only for the child, but for the family, because the family is a key part of this. It's an integrated program. So this is the way to deal with this in a caring society. Quite frankly, it's the way to deal with this in a society that understands economics as well, because it's a lot more expensive to have people commit crimes, be on the streets, be a constant problem in schools or other institutions than it is to treat them appropriately. This is no different than having your appendix out. It's no different than suffering from some kind of medical ailment, a physical ailment. It's just as real, and the problem is we don't see it that way. So, I want to thank all of you who are engaged in work that is so necessary and that helps so many people. This is a great asset for the city of Long Beach. More than that, it's a great asset for humanity, and I want to thank everyone on hand in making a rally. Thank God for your work.